Matt Gaetz. Where do I even start? Elected to the U.S. House of Representatives representing Florida's 1st Congressional District in 2016, we quickly saw his ascent in the Republican world. Constant appearances on Fox News, and it didn't hurt that President Trump was a big fan. He stood behind Trump every step of the way, even being deemed a proud Trump protege by Politico. All of this instantly made him unpopular on the other side of the aisle and a target of constant criticism, warranted or not. After Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, we saw the voices of conservatives dwindle a bit. They don't have power in Congress and aren't popular culturally. One would think to themselves, how much more issues can Republicans deal with? Before we go there, let's go back to the summer of 2020. Black Lives Matter protests are occurring in every city, and the racial climate is a heated one. During a debate during a House Judiciary Committee meeting regarding police reform, where a Democratic representative said that Republicans don't have to worry about raising non-white children, and Gaetz asked him about it.
Will the gentleman yield?
Sure.
I appreciate your passion. Are you suggesting that you're certain that none of us have non-white children? Because you reflected on your black son and you said none of us could understand.
Matt, stop. I'm not about to get sidetracked about the color of our children. We're talking about black kids. I reclaim my time.
Gaetz then revealed that he had a son, Nestor, who was not white. Nestor was actually 19 years old and had been living with Gaetz for the last 6 years when he came here legally from Cuba. There were various occasions that Nestor was with Gaetz publicly. In 2016, Nestor joined Gaetz on the House floor and was labeled a fellow student while pictured with another female student. In 2017, Gaetz was in his parents' living room during Christmas time on Facebook Live addressing him being the lone no vote on an anti-human trafficking bill that was going through Congress. In the background, you're going to see Nestor, and let's see how Matt Gaetz addresses him.
As you guys can see, I've got my helper Nestor here. I'm at my parents' house out in Walton County.
After Gaetz announced Nestor being his son, Katie Hill, a former member of Congress, has actually come out in defense of Gaetz, saying he constantly acknowledges Nestor as his son, but in public tries to hide his identity in order to protect him from the crap that comes with being a politician's son. Now let's get back to today. According to the New York Times, citing anonymous sources, the Department of Justice is investigating Matt Gaetz and whether he broke federal sex trafficking laws by paying for travel of an underage teenage girl who was 17. After these allegations, Gaetz confirmed to Axios that he was indeed under investigation. The day the news broke, Gaetz appeared on Tucker Carlson to address the story. Here's what he had to say.
We've invited Congressman Gaetz on the show to respond to these stories and give us his view of them. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. So this is obviously a serious allegation. Tell us what the truth is from your perspective.
It is a horrible allegation, and it is a lie. The New York Times is running a story that I have traveled with a 17-year-old woman, and that is verifiably false. People can look at my travel records and see that that is not the case. What is happening is an extortion of me and my family involving a former Department of Justice official. On March 16th, my father got a text message demanding a meeting wherein a person demanded $25 million in exchange for making horrible sex trafficking allegations against me go away.
According to USA Today, Trump Attorney General William Barr was briefed on the issue last year and opened a full investigation at the time, with Trump-appointed federal agents taking the lead of the investigation. Gaetz wasn't essentially the main target, though. It is his close ally, Joel Greenberg, who was a Seminole County tax collector. Joel Greenberg was charged this last August with sex trafficking, with girls aged between 14 and 17. No one knows what role Gaetz exactly plays into this. According to the New York Times, the investigators believe Joel Greenberg would introduce women to Gaetz after meeting them online, promise the dates would be in exchange for gifts, traveling, and fine dining. Then the women would have sex with Gaetz, while also dabbling in some ecstasy. The New York Times is also claiming that they have reviewed receipts from Apple Pay that show payments between Gaetz, Greenberg, and another woman. They also claim the woman says the money was in exchange for sex. This isn't the main issue, though. The main issue is if this girl was 17, or if any of the girls were 17 or younger, and if that girl received anything in exchange for sex. The Times is also claiming that the same girl that is involved with Joel Greenberg's arrest is the same 17-year-old involved with Gaetz. If it is found that Matt Gaetz exchanged anything of value to have sex with a girl underage, that is a minimum of 10 years in federal prison. What does Matt Gaetz really have to say about all this? He claims that as a single young man, he takes care of his women. He buys them dinners, flies them out, gets them hotel rooms, you know, that young bachelor life. He says that people are trying to recategorize his generosity. He claims that any statement of him having a sexual relationship with a minor is unequivocally false. Gaetz says that he's also not going to resign and he's going to be carrying on business as usual for now. What's my take? I've never been the biggest Matt Gaetz fan. I don't know, I think a lot of it is his face. But I also don't like the whole Trump fanboy thing either. He hasn't really done anything besides be a cheerleader in my opinion. But when this news came out, it is easy to say, okay, but tell me more. People are rushing to say he's guilty and that even Nestor is being held against his will. Like I said, regarding Deshaun Watson's case, let's see what happens in the court of law. I'm a believer of the phrase, where there is smoke, there is fire. But in today's world, with the media and anonymous sources, who really does know anymore? We have seen countless stories be debunked over the last few years. Whatever is going on, though, does feel like it's going to be coming to a head soon. Let's see what happens. Thank you guys for watching again. Comment and let me know what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.